Well, thank you, Alex, for giving us the opportunity to talk to you about your new game, Hyperlight Drifter, one of our most anticipated games this year. The team and I have been fascinated with it since its reveal back in 2013. It reminds me of Zelda, but with a more mature theme, and the music really sets the scene with a Tron-like rhythm, which leads me to my first question. What does the main theme and story revolve around, and how did you come up with such a unique game?
Main theme in the story, they revolve around the protagonist, the drifter, and he is an illness, and he's seeking a cure for it. That's kind of the really basic premise of it, and we haven't gotten too much further into that publicly, just because we want to keep it under wraps and let people experience it for themselves.
Right.
I get that. Yeah, kind of like a surprise, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's something very close to me personally. So I don't like spoilers, and I don't even like trailers these days because they explain too much about the movie or games before you even see it, and it ruins the experience.
I get that, man. I understand it. That's kind of cool, man. That's a different way to do it.
Yeah.
Fresh.
Yeah, no, it definitely gives you the sense of mystery. When you go into the game, some of the scenes that I've seen, it seemed like he was going through ancient structures. So obviously there's a mystery behind it.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that what you just said, I mean, you don't want to give away too much, but you definitely want to show off enough to impress the fans.
Yeah, there's the basic premise behind the world is it's post-apocalyptic, so it's hundreds of years past the time when society collapsed, and you're helping out the last dregs of society, basically, that's banded together in a hub. So,
right. And how did you come up with this unique title? I mean, I remember reading, I believe, on the actual main page, you said you had all these thoughts in your head, all these images in your head. So, how did you come up with it?
I mean, it's really just like a amalgamation of things that I love about games and even animation, kind of informed a lot by my own experiences. I mean, the primary influence being Zelda.
Obviously.
It's very apparent, and I think a lot of people are inspired by that series, but more specifically, Link to the Past was kind of like this perfect game at the time.
Yeah.
Where it was doing things that others weren't, and it was doing everything really well, and thinking of ways to modernize that experience, because if you go back to it now, it still plays incredibly well, but it's old, it's clunky, it's like we have a lot of modern designs that we use in games now, language and mechanics and capabilities with technology, because we don't have the same limitations that we had before. So it's how do you expand on that and do something different, and that's where my thoughts had kind of been revolving for the past few years about this.
Nice. Now, in the game, obviously it's an RPG, so as you go through the course of the game, I guess we can expect to find like typical things, loot, treasure, things like that. Are those things present?
You'll be finding plenty of things in the game. I mean, just like most other games, you collect stuff, so there's nothing, no surprise there.
So we get to open some treasure chests, a la Zelda, right?
You'll be open some form of treasure chest, sure, like pinatas, whatever. I mean, everybody loves things that come out of boxes, basically.
with that beautiful ambient music that plays as you open it.
Yeah. So there will be stuff to gather for sure, and there's equipment, and you'll get different loadouts and stuff like that. So
awesome.
It's not as deep and crazy as Diablo, for example.
Right.
We're a small team, so we're doing something a little more distilled.
Right.
But there's enough there to really dig in.
Right. Well, the character is clearly a loner. I mean, it's in the name of the game. He's a drifter. In most RPGs, though, they eventually gather companions and are able to create amazing teams. Through the course of the game, do you meet NPCs who eventually become playable characters, or are you a loner throughout the entire experience of the game?
It's primarily a solitary experience, so
Gotcha.
You'll be encountering other NPCs in the world, but they'll just be for story and context and some basic interactions for shops and stuff like that. But
cool,
you play as the main character.
You gotta have shops, man. You gotta have shops.
You gotta, if you have an RPG,
buy
you
your
gotta have
items.
shops.
Yeah, definitely. It has to be some type of village that you stop in and just talk to people. Side quest missions, things like that are very important in RPGs. So,
with a kid playing with a ball or something like that.
Yeah, no, he's right. I remember
like more of like an 8-bit style.
Remember in Final Fantasy VII when you go to one of the shops, you got the dog barking outside the shop, or or some cat just laying down in the middle of nowhere purring for no reason. This is funny.
But those details add a lot of context and life to the world, an otherwise
does.
static digital experience. So
Right, no, it definitely does. It makes it feel
it draws you in.
realistic. Yeah, no, definitely.
sometimes they're super goofy though, but other times, at least in our game, we're trying to do stuff that's, well, I don't know. You'll find some.
Now, question. I remember seeing. Does he have like an animal companion with him?
He has a little digital companion, and it acts as your inventory. It reveals some secrets. You can interact with the other computers and environments, computers in the environment and stuff like that to unlock doors and a variety of other elements. So he has his place, or it has its place.
Kind of like your companion in Destiny, Peter Dinklage.
Yeah, there's a similarity there. Although the Dinklebot is not my cup of tea really. So
yeah, not a lot of people's cup of tea apparently.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this is a silent companion. There's no voice.
Right.
Nice.
That's good though. But
it stemmed more from, I was a big Phantasy Star Online player back in the Dreamcast days, and Destiny's very similar to PSO, including the little mags. So it's not an original idea to have a little floating computer companion.
Right.
But a lot of people compare it to Destiny. It's like, well, actually, PSO did this like 7 years ago, if not more, way back when. So, and it was a way more interesting companion in that game because you could feed it and evolve it and change it. And it didn't have a horrible voiceover. So
yeah, no, definitely, I completely agree with you on that part. Yeah. So the great thing about RPGs is the customization of your characters. From their armor to their weapons and abilities. We have only seen a few previews of the game of him in his red cape, equipped with a gun and a saber-type sword. In Hyperlight, will gamers be able to customize their character from abilities to armor? And are there any skill trees for weapons and abilities for power or status effects?
There are a bunch of those things.
Awesome.
You can, you can modify. Yeah, you'll be able to swap out some of your colors or some of your equipment, and you can upgrade a bunch of stuff. Again, it's not incredibly deep like a Diablo game. Like that's not the expectation here. There's not like a big winding skill tree per se, but you still get upgrades, you still get skills, you still find stuff. So there's plenty of stuff there to do and to upgrade and to tinker with and to customize. So
nice.
Did you guys think about building a crafting system?
Good God, no.
That takes a lot, man.
I guess so, but I look at it from a perspective of you got Hyperlight and this futuristic post-apocalyptic world, and in those type of worlds there's junk everywhere. So so isn't it cool to go out and pick up a piece of something that's not what it originally was, but if you add it to this piece, then you build this ultimate really cool sword or really cool gun.
Yeah,
the concept is cool, and that system can be really interesting. It's just like that takes a lot of work, and it takes enough work to do what we're doing right now. Like we have a lot of things to do as a very small team,
right?
So it's more about balancing out the experience with what do we really want to communicate, what's the most fun stuff. And crafting is cool, but it's a huge system. It's a big undertaking. So and to do it right.
Alex, how many in the team?
So there's 5 of us at the core full time. We have a few other like freelancers and contract workers doing some other smaller tidbits, but full time it's just it's 5 of us. It was originally just me, and then 2 of us for about 9 months, and then the rest of the team got hired on after the Kickstarter.
Wow. You guys are doing really awesome. Just to have that many people. That game looks fantastic, man.
Thanks.
Yeah, the game looks amazing. Like I said, man, it's one of my most anticipated games. My other two were Ori and Below, and so far Ori has lived up to expectations. So
I'm looking forward to finally playing that.
Yes. When you get your hands on it, you'll love it. It's very addictive, and I believe Hyperlight will be addictive as well because I can't.
I hope
get
so.
My hands on it. No,
I've been playing it for a year, and I can't actually contractually stop playing it. So.
Right. Right. No, we understand that. Yeah. So with so many games releasing this year, we know it can be hard to find the perfect time to release. Not only that, but release at a great price, and we know prices vary with content. When can we expect to see Hyperlight release on the Xbox One, and what will the game be priced at? And after the release of HLD, what are your plans next? Will you be working on your next game, or can we expect DLC from Hyperlight?
Oh, well, that is okay. Yeah, let me start with
multi-part question.
Yeah, price and release. Release date we have not announced yet. We've only said 2015 for PC first. Consoles take some time. So Xbox One, for example, they have they're called XBRs or XRs or something like that, where basically you go through a certification process,
right? And
you have to have this. There's this hundreds of things on the list that you have to make sure are good to go for that system for specifically. So it takes time, and again, we're a small team to do that, and we want to get it out the door on PC first, and then we'll give ourselves the correct amount of time. And sometimes it takes a month, sometimes it takes much longer, depending on the cert process. So it's all about getting it on the platform as quickly as we can, but doing it the right way, because stuff can be really intense and expensive. So
sounds like we'll see it in 2016.
It's possible. We're trying. I mean, again, we're trying to get it all out as quickly as possible, but we're not. We can't rush the cert process on the console side. So
no, please don't rush. Take your time with the game. Take your time.
Yeah. Release a very polished product.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's the idea. So we don't want to release a broken game, and we don't want to release a bad game. So we'll take the time that we need to. But those are the realities of it, and that's the goal. As far as price goes, we're stating it's $20, or $19.99.
Nice.
So
that's a great price
it's a big game. It's it was the pre-order price originally, or the price starting out was $15. Way back when the Kickstarter first started, but since we had a larger team, we had enough funding. It's become a bigger experience, and we put years of work into it at this point. So I think it's well worth that amount, if not more. So,
quick question before you get to the next one: how many gameplay hours are you guys looking to implement?
20 for 20.
That's a hard question to answer right now. I mean, we're still busting out content left and right, so it depends. We're always very aware of editing ourselves and making sure we're not putting stupid buffery things in there or too much backtracking. So, it's a big experience. It's a long enough experience that I feel it'll be well worth anybody's time. And time allotments for games, like telling somebody this is a 20-hour game or this is a whatever-hour game, is less important to me than a polished, good experience that I'm satisfied with.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, it's not a 2-hour game. It's definitely longer. It's a significant experience, though.
Yeah, preferably if you do, maybe give us an hour $1, that'd be great. So
even then, something like that would be worthwhile.
But
to give you an idea, our preview build in October, we had expected this is probably 45 minutes of content, but people spent on average almost 2 hours playing that to get everything. So, and that was a very small portion of the world.
Nice. That's interesting. It sounds really good. If that's just a small portion and you can spend just to get everything, for us completionists, because I am a completionist. So trying to find every treasure, go through every nook and cranny, check every hidden door and pathway. 2 hours. No, that's excellent. That sounds like it could be anywhere from a 12 to 20-hour game.
Yeah.
And,
it'll be significant enough to impact you and to make you to actually get everything, and we've hidden a lot of stuff in the game, and we continue to hide stuff in the game all over the place. So there's plenty to do.
Nice. What are your plans after Hyperlight? Do you guys plan to continue
Take
to
a
support
vacation?
it? Of course.
Well deserved.
No, definitely. I think every dev deserves a vacation after that. But like, have you thought about that though? Like,
Of course. I mean, I think any person that's motivated and creative has ideas that they want that are always there, or that pop up at a certain time. Like, even if you're deep in a project like I am now, it's like I'm still thinking about other projects that I want to do. So
right.
Nice.
I want to make more games down the line, but I need to take a break after this.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Oh yeah.
How has your experience been with the Idea Xbox program?
I've been primarily engaged with, it's been great. I mean, I've talked with a few of the people there now, and Chris Charla was the person that we hooked up with to get involved with it in the first place, and he's awesome. He's a great evangelist for indies on the platform.
Right.
And we've had a few other interactions, and it's been a very smooth experience overall, so no complaints from me on them.
Right.
Yeah, that's all we keep hearing. It's good stuff.
Yeah, that's definitely something we hear consistently from some of the indie developers that we've spoken to, because, the Idea Xbox program, for some apparent reason in the media, gets a bad rap. But I really think that they sound like they've been very helpful with a lot of guys. And I know that they're eventually going to be getting out these development kits using the Xbox Ones as themselves. That's something that they actually brought up recently. So I'm looking forward to it. And not to mention, GDC just showed us a new plethora of games coming out.
Oh,
yeah. So
yeah. I mean, it's
the
program. It has its issues, just like any program with a large corporation. Like even on Sony's side, which is very indie friendly these days, like they still have their issues too. But it's overall it's an improvement from last generation, that's for sure. And like the way they interact with the people, the response times, it's all been a very positive experience on our end. So
yeah, it sounds like it's all going in the right direction. So
yeah, it's just like there's kinks to be worked out. There's things that people are going to have issues with. There's the parity clause, which is still problematic, but maybe that'll be worked out. But overall, it's much harder to complain about these programs these days than it was even 4 or 5 years ago. So
right. I think with the parity clause, which is something that my team and we stress is something that we would like to see go. Even though some Xbox gamers want to see it stay, we just feel like it's a hindrance. Why have a hindrance in a way?
It's a hindrance for smaller developers. It doesn't make. I get why they have it in there.
Right.
For larger developers, sure.
Right.
But developers like us, I made a significant chunk on Kickstarter, but still, even with that, like that's not a lot of money to make a game, because games are really expensive to make, and people with even smaller budgets, it's like you're forcing them to do a lot of work up front to get on your platform, instead of doing it when they can, and you're either telling them, well, you just can't be on our platform, or spend $30,000 extra, which is a lot of money.
Wow.
To get on here at the same time as you would on Sony's platform.
Yeah,
wow.
I'm gonna keep talking. When I talk to Phil Spencer next, I'm gonna keep stressing to him about the Idea Xbox program and see if they can't do something.
Yeah.
Well, I think the larger issue too is the program itself and the guys running it, and Chris Charla and everybody behind it, like they're great, and they're
oh yeah,
they want to embrace the indie community and are fighting for us, but they also work within a larger corporation with their own goals and motivations, and sometimes communication breaks down, and it's harder to get. It's like, what are the priorities there for the larger entity that they're working under also? So there's a lot of back and forth between those situations, and I think on like Sony's side, for example, they've had more autonomy with their program, so it's easier for them to lift certain restrictions or be more flexible on stuff. But it's corporate culture, it's large entities within smaller entities within all these different things, so it's complicated.
Well, again, Alex, we want to thank you for stopping by on TiC Podcast. We really appreciate it. Mike, do you have any final questions?
Man, I'm just keep working away at this game, man, and make sure it's polished. Because see, the thing is, indie devs are killing AAA devs right now when it comes to polished products.
They really are.
I want to throw that out there. I really
there's a lot of
appreciate
great
all
games.
the work that you guys are putting into these games, man. You guys are actually putting out polished products, and that's admirable versus AAA devs who struggle with some of their stuff like AC, Unity, for example. I don't want to go too much into it, but you get the gist of it.
Well, I think we have the advantage and disadvantage of being a smaller team. For indie devs in general, it's like you don't have 1,000-man studios spanning across the world for an indie developer. That's not indie anymore. And so you don't have as many working parts, and so you have less problems, and so you have more time to focus on the smaller stuff, and it's still an incredibly difficult process on either end of it, or in any part of the spectrum. So I can appreciate even AC Unity, like, yeah, it's got its problems and it's shit broken, and it probably shouldn't have, but as a developer, I can understand that stuff, and it sucks. It sucks that it happens, and it shouldn't. But I'm glad to be making a game, and I'm glad that other indie devs are making polished experiences, and we're trying our best to make sure that we ship a polished product. So,
right.
I'd love to do a Let's Play with it. Get it on Twitch with our guys there too. Maybe.
Sounds good.
If you'd be interested in that.
I'm interested.
All right, man. Awesome.
Well, again, we want to thank you for stopping by on TiC Podcast, and we hope you consider us again for any future projects that come out of Heart Machine, so we can, help Xbox One fans learn more about your games.
Sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Alex, and we'll talk to you again.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
No problem. Man. Have a good one, bud.
You too.